Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where we're going to go over the top 5 tips that I think every single Lulu player needs to know. My name is LolFit. If this is your first time to the channel, I do educational league content. I've peaked at mid diamond. If you're interested at all in that, I feel like I have an extremely good understanding of the bot lane and just kind of the dynamics that go on down there. So if you have any kind of general questions like that, hit me up in the comments down below and I will help you. Now, the reason why I wanted to put together a video for Lulu is because she, I think, is a bit underrated. Some recent Ardent Sensor buffs, I think they're going to be tweaking a little bit more of the ADCs. I think some of the crit ADCs might come back, and that's really when Lulu starts to shine. If you guys want to join, I'm always looking for people to do 5v5 customs and to play flex with. So if you're on NA, feel free to add me. My name is just the same as my channel name, so it's going to be LolFit. Just with no space, and you can add me. I'm always looking for people to just kind of hang out, have some fun. Discord is going to be in the description as well if you have any questions, want to direct chat, and sometimes I do one-on-one coaching. I offer it up when I have some free time. So with all that out of the way, sorry, I got a little wordy, but we're gonna get through it. Let's jump into the first tip for Lulu. Alright, and let's jump into the first tip. Now, if you just take one thing away from this video, I want to stress the importance of your W. This is one of the just most insanely overpowered ability. It is extremely flexible. When you cast on an ally, it gives them movement speed and attack speed. Movement speed scales with AP too, so keep that in mind. So it's going to be even more when you have a little bit of AP. And then on the enemy cast, you polymorph them for 2.25 seconds and give them a movement speed debuff. Now, the key to Lulu, what separates amazing Lulu players from poor Lulu players, is how they use their W. A general rule that I can give you guys that are just first starting out is if your ADC is under any kind of pressure, you W the highest threat target that is in range of you. A good example would be something like Kha'Zix or Talon jumping in on your ADC. You want to save your Whimsy for that. But if it's a front-to-back team fight, your ADCs aren't going to be attacked until the 2 tanks or a tank in the front has died. You want to put your W on your ADC. Give them that attack speed steroid. Give them that movement speed buff so we can kite really effectively, dodge some skill shots. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, Whimsy can be actually a decent chase down tool. This would be the third way to use it. Say you get a kill in the 2v2. There's one person running away. Sometimes it might be more effective to put the slow on the person because they are going to lose 60 movement speed, so you can track him quicker and then ensure your glitter lance. If you don't think the ADC is going to have enough damage with just the increased movement speed, really kind of fool around a bit with it in lane. But I think that if once you master this W, everything else falls into place with Lulu. Obviously, there's a couple of small things like you want to have a quick cast to self-cast on your E, and then an ally target only modifier, but you can go over those in Keybind. It's very simple. I don't feel like I need to do that, but if you want any kind of help with that kind of stuff, comment down below and I will help you. But if you take anything away, just really get good at using your W, and that will wrap up tip 1 for Lulu. Alright, and jumping into tip number 2, I want to talk about something that's very particular to Lulu that a lot of people don't understand. She is actually a pretty decent lane bully. She has very high base damages with her E and her Q in the early levels. At level 3, she is one of the strongest supports with just her damage, and then obviously her auto attack enhanced just allows you to destroy people in trades, particularly melee supports. When you are going the spell thieves, and you're pointing against a melee support, you should always have that cooldown being used up to get gold by hitting autos. Just make sure that you understand where your strengths are in the laning phase. Obviously, when you're under threat, if you're against something like a Leona, attack her when she uses her E and misses, attack her a lot at level 1 before she has her full combo, and just really make sure to take advantage of the lane bully status Lulu has. If you have a slight health lead and you're in a 1v1 against an ADC and in a minion advantage, I feel like Lulu can win probably about 60% of those matchups just due to her kit being so strong. So always look to take advantage of her early power and her great trading potential. Do not play this like one of those stereotypical Janna players that will stand behind the ADC, do nothing, just shield when they get poked at. This is an aggressive enchanter. This is probably one of the more aggressive enchanters, maybe similar to Karma, where you want to be playing up, you want to... She is a little bit squishy, so you can get punished, but she has such a high upside of being able to punish the enemy with her high base damages. And again, if you have any questions in regards to how to play out a lane bullying phase, just hit me up in the comments below and I can help you out. Alright, and jumping into the next tip, I want to talk about Lulu's flexibility. It's one thing I just absolutely love about champions in League of Legends when they are like this, and their ability to build different items. Now, there is a wide variety of items you can build when you are playing Lulu, and it just kind of depends on what your team needs. I'm going to go over a couple different scenarios that you can take a look at. Say you have a team with a lot of pick. You have an Elise in the jungle. You have a Fizz in the mid lane. You have another pick champion in the top. What you want to do is amplify their ability. How you do this is with things like Shirelia's, where you're giving a movement speed and you're just helping them close the gap quicker and get those picks. Second, Twin Shadows can be great in those situations because it will scout people out and open up them up to more picks. Next up, if your team is set up for team fighting, which is pretty beneficial for Lulu, and say your ADC isn't doing that well, or maybe it's an Ezreal and it doesn't really work too well with Lulu, you want to look for AoE team fighting items. These are going to be things like Redemption, these are going to be things like Locket, things that are going to affect a wide swath of people in the team fights. Next kind of situation, you have a Kog'Maw and you are best friends, or a Varus, and you guys just always slaughter when you fight together. You want to look for single target items that are really going to be beneficial to them. You can look at things like Athenes can just be a great way to nullify single target damage like Fizz and Talon. Next up, you have things like Zeke's that can increase the damage. Obviously, Ardent Sensor is an amazing item on Lulu for getting the carries a bit stronger, and Knight's Vow. Now, some of these aren't the most optimal pick because of Lulu's enchanter kind of range type thing, but certain game states can really call for certain things. Say you have an enemy laner that's playing Thresh. It's a Thresh support, and it's just landing hook after hook after hook in the game. You can grab something like Mikhail's to get them out of that, cleanses all the stuns, roots, taunts, fears, and silences. So really look to play towards the game state. I know I usually give this tip for most of my 5 tips videos, but if I find if one or two Lulu mains that haven't found my channel yet, they see this video and they're like, oh wait, I don't have to build the same thing over and over again because that one pro did that one game with that one build and he did really well. Just always look to optimize your build for the situation. Put yourself in the best possible space, and I guarantee you will see an uptick in your win rate when you are actually using your brain and analyzing what build you should be doing. And that will wrap up this tip. Alright, and let's jump into tip number 4. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different. I think that bronze players, silver players might not really understand this, and I rarely ever see when I play with my low elo friends, Lulu's doing this, is you can use your ult offensively for CC. If your team, it's really important that these things are happening. If your team is winning, and you rarely ever need to use your ult defensively, and you find that it's just always up because no one's really threatening your backline, what you can do when your tank engages, say I'm a Malphite right now, I'm not a cute little Lulu, what you would want to do is just do an ult, and you would get a big knock up on a bunch of people. This ult isn't always just for, oh god, a Talon's diving my ADC. Obviously, this is an amazing anti-engage tool, but it can also be used offensively. It's similar to the W. It has multiple uses, and sometimes when those people are CC'd from this knockup, it's going to reduce the amount of damage output they have. So in a way, it's being defensive and offensive because you're preventing damage and you are putting them in a CC. So this, it's a little bit different. You're going to have to fool around with it a bit. You're going to have to get kind of the hold of it, similar with the W, the kit. Lulu takes some time to get used to, but once you start understanding that the R can be used offensively, it is just very, very, very strong. So, and it is bonus health. Quick little side note. So it does, bonus health is actually a little bit better than a big shield when Pike is super strong, because Pike goes off of, he can go through shields, but he doesn't go through bonus health at the time. But that's just super particular one thing, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So that will wrap up this tip. Make sure to use your wild growth offensively when your backline is under no threat whatsoever. All right, and let's jump into the last tip. Now, this is possibly my favorite part of Lulu's kit. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this is the most amazing thing that's going to win you a bunch of games, but I'd say probably about 105 games of Lulu I've played. I've probably gotten 4 or 5 kills using this method. Maybe a little bit, maybe around 10 kills using this method. I'm not 100% sure, but your E range, your EQ range is so huge. A lot of people underestimate it, and they don't keep track of where your pix is. I'm going to give you an example. Say there's an ADC farming really low CS, and we just fought. Maybe your ADC died. What you can do is you can attach your E to either a friendly minion or an enemy minion, run back so he thinks he's not under threat, and then throw your Q out from there. So this is a nice little kind of a trick way to do kind of just some random damage. It seems to comes out of nowhere. I mean, you don't even have to be on the same screen as it. It is pretty crazy. I know that's kind of a small tip, but just keep in mind, it does cost a lot of mana to do that combo, but sometimes it can be worth it to get that kill. I actually, with these last 2 tip videos, I did a tip video on Taric and this Lulu. I'm going to be putting together a video where I'm going to be talking about how they can work in off-meta roles. So that's going to until I'm going to be doing a top lane Taric and top lane Lulu video. Let me know if that interests you guys at all. It's going to be like that machine gun Lulu with like the frozen mallet and like the rage blade. And I love that playstyle. It's so much fun. And it's like, it's pretty abusive up in the top lane to play Lulu. If you guys have any like ideas for that kind of video that you want to see, it'll definitely be actual gameplay. I won't just be going over stuff in the practice tool. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the channel. It helps me out a bunch, and you guys have a great night.